How we doing, everybody, today? My name's Mitch, and this is the first podcast for Mitch Hawks and Company. Yours truly, Mitch Hammond. Yeah, it's been something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and now I'm doing it, and it'll be football season coming up here in a couple weeks. There's a lot I want to talk about, and there's a lot I want to get to, but I thought I would introduce myself first. So, yeah, my name's Mitch, and I'm a huge Seahawks fan. I'm a big Mariners fan. Kraken, Washington State Cougars, Gonzaga basketball. So, I'm a big Washington sports guy. And that's just something about me. Particularly, out of all of those, I'm probably the biggest Hawks fan. The Mariners, I would say, is a close second. And of course, follow Wazoo football pretty darn closely. So you'll be seeing some content about those teams, and especially when it comes to the Mariners playoff push, which we'll see next month, postseason baseball, and then Washington State Cougars. Let's just see how we're doing. I know they've got beat up by the transfer portal over the last couple of years, so yeah, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, a little bit of a background about me is I live over here in beautiful Seattle. Originally from Spokane, so that's where I get my Gonzaga fandom from. Went to Eastern, go Eags. Very excited about Cooper Cup being on the Seahawks this year, and yeah, just have been living over here in Seattle. I've hopped on once I graduated from Eastern Washington. I moved over here for a job. Started off doing accounting and then moved over to doing finance. And yeah, still trying to find my way, and have had a lot of good blessings along the way. A lot of good people I've met, and yeah, just have also gained a lot more passion for sports in the game. As in tonight, I'm going to an Everett Aqua Sox game, and luckily bringing some of the guys we took down at Creekside, so I'm a big Young Life guy as well. And yeah, um, was fortunate enough to take some guys down to Creekside a couple weeks ago and continue to lead them this year. So any of y'all who are big into Young Life, yeah, it's an awesome organization, and in my bio, I added a link to just to donate. And yeah, any help is great to keep kids going to camp. So very much appreciate that. So thought I would just get it started. I was at the Hawks preseason game. What was it, last Friday? I had a buddy from my roommate from college, Drew, from out of town. And we were able to go to the game. It was a little bit cold and rainy, but got some pretty good preseason action. And yeah, I kind of got a couple notes I wanted to go through. So kind of the big one is um, Jalen Milrow, Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold had coming off a monster year with the Vikings this past season, throwing up 35 touchdowns. I know it didn't really end super well last year when it came to the Lions game and when it came to um, the first playoff game that they had to play against the Rams. But Vikings wanted to move on to JJ McCarthy, which is an obvious move since they drafted him first round. And the Hawks were able to land him after trading Geno Smith to the Raiders to reunite him with Pete Carroll. And yeah, signed him up for a 3-year deal and make him our starter for the next few seasons. So hoping he can at least have as good of a year as he did last year. One can hope. And also some other offseason moves, us trading DK Metcalf to the Steelers for a second round pick. I would have been reunion with him and Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson bolted to the Giants. So it'll be Aaron Rodgers catching touchdown passes I mean, Aaron Rodgers throwing touchdowns to DK Metcalf. So there's that. And then we were able to bring back Cooper Hope, bring back Cooper Cup. And that was huge for us because obviously Washington native for the second he was drafted in the NFL, and even when he was still at Eastern, him and I did running start my final year at Eastern, and then it was his final season, him and Kendrick Bourne. I was hoping and praying that he would become a Seahawk. Unfortunately, the Rams drafted him, had an incredible career with them, as much as winning Super Bowl MVP. But the Davis High School legend out of Yakima has come home. So I think he's going to be a really good addition to that locker room. Be a really good mentor to JSN, and Jake Bobo looked pretty good in the preseason. So I think we're going to round out those three guys as our main receivers. Kenneth Walker coming back healthy. We got Damian Martinez, former Oregon State legend, as our third string running back. Charbonnet looked really good in the preseason. Yeah, and then also feeling pretty good about our defense year two under Mike McDonald. So a lot of things to be hopeful for. Um, in other question marks in the division, which I think would help the Hawks out quite a bit. Cardinals, I mean, seems like it's everybody's sleeper team, but they were catching a little bit of momentum last year, didn't quite work out. The Rams, we're gonna monitor the Matthew Stafford situation with his back. If it's Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances. And then, yeah, the 49ers, I mean, they caught the injury bug last year, so it's a tough break on their part, but we'll see. I mean, it's either they get the injury bug and they lose 11, 12 games, or they're going to the Super Bowl. So we'll see. And of course, that big Brock Purdy contract. I mean, they'll let a lot of people go in free agency, so you can trade it away some players. So that could always be a factor. And then of course, the Hawks getting Clint Kubiak, who I think is a big upgrade over Ryan Grubb. Um, Honestly, was not a huge fan of the Grubb hire. Not because I'm a Coug fan and he was the Huskies coach, but anyway, it just seemed like his college offense just did not quite work in the NFL, and Geno's numbers took a dip, and then Kenneth Walker was kind of run into the ground. So hopefully we find some new life with Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak obviously has a history with Sam Darnold, with the 49ers, in that Shanahan system. So we'll see how that goes. And then um, I think I've kind of hit everything there when it comes to the Hawks, but pretty optimistic. They have another preseason game at Lambeau Field with the Green Bay Packers. So, I'm just waiting for the regular season to start. And believe we're opening up against the Niners. So that'll be hopefully a win for us and get a good start to the year, and hopefully Darnold shows a little bit of what he was last year, hopefully. And some other NFL news I'm wanting to cover. Shador Sanders started that first preseason game, looked pretty good. Injured, missed the last one, and then this week, Joe Flacco is named the starter for the Browns, which is no big surprise. Sounds like Kenny Pickett's going to be the second stringer, then Dylan Gabriel, and then we have Shador Sanders, surprisingly, with that fourth quarterback spot. So we'll see how the season goes for the Browns. I think Shador, I mean, it's crazy. He was originally supposed to be a top three pick, top 10 pick, and then just fell all the way down to a day three pick to the point where the Browns took Dylan Gabriel 2 rounds ahead of him. So I'm just interested to see if we see any more action from him this year. I think it's kind of wild that Browns have four quarterbacks on the roster. I mean, they did bring in Snoop Huntley. Hey, that's Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley, by the way. And of course, Watson's going to be out for the year with his Achilles, which I don't think he's suiting up for the Browns nor suiting up for another NFL team ever again. Just with how the last couple seasons went, and just a lot of the stuff off the field just isn't great. So, um, so yeah, Browns kind of predicting to be another tank bowl team, but who knows? Flacco led them to the playoffs a couple seasons back, so never say never, I guess. And then and then this week Daniel Jones was named QB1 over Anthony Richardson, which to be honest was not a huge shock. Um, the Colts have just been in QB purgatory since Andrew Luck infamously retired during the preseason game in 2019, and then just all the quarterbacks that they to had to cycle through was from there. It was Jacoby Brissett, it was Brian Hoyer, Philip Rivers for a season, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Sam Ellinger, Nick Foles, um, Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, now Daniel Jones. So yeah, just like the quarterback carousel the Browns have had for years, Broncos had since Manning retired. Um, it just has not looked up for them. And Anthony Richardson, I thought coming out of Florida, I mean, didn't start that many games, and that was a huge concern. And I mean, he always had that rocket arm, just needed to be refined. Probably would have helped if he had another season in college. And he's still pretty young. But some things a lot like he was thrown out to the Wolves his rookie season, got hurt. Gardner Minshew almost led them to the playoffs. Go Cougs. And then last season was got hurt again. Joe Flacco looked good for a couple games, and then he infamously against the Texans tapped out of a game because he was tired, and then was eventually benched for Joe Flacco. And then they bring in Daniel Jones, who Jones comes over from the Vikings, who was released from the Giants in the middle of the season last year. And the big reason why he didn't re-sign with the Vikings and he signed with the Colts because I think he had an idea that he had a better shot to be a starter with the Colts. And I mean, this proves him right. So he felt better about the Anthony Richardson situation than he did about JJ McCarthy. So what does that tell you? Um, so you have those situations going on. I think what the Colts are going to do, it's probably going to be similar to what the Niners did with Trey Lance, which is another pick that nobody really talks enough about because the Niners were bailed out by Brock Purdy, um, Mr. Irrelevant. That I think the Colts, if there's somebody who's going to be trading like a fourth or fifth round pick, if that's the Rams, Eagles seems like they always like a good reclamation project. Lions probably could use a backup. Um, Trying to see what other value they can get out of him. Who knows? Maybe the Cowboys give up a third or fourth for him, since that's what they like to do. Um, we'll see what transpires there. But Daniel Jones being the starter, like I think at best with the Colts right now, they're about like an 8-win team, like at best. I mean, there's some games in there in their division that are pretty favorable. But I would, as a fan, I think I would hate going into the season knowing my starter is going to be Daniel Jones and not just for the first week, but for the season. I mean, depending on how his performance is, that could easily change. But yeah, it's just not looking particularly good. So those are some things happening, and then of course in that division, I want Houston to win that outright. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Titans with Cam Ward, go Cougs. I think will be like interesting. I think there'll be like 6 or 7 wins. Jaguars, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all the content I have right now. I'm going to try to do at least 2 to 3 videos a week. Going to be mainly reaction. And then also, I want to do other content as well. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I know with this podcast, little clunky. my first one, but um, finally did it. Said what I was going to do. So yeah, just look forward to some more content, and yeah, just want to thank all the people who have encouraged me to do this, and of course, a lot of big content that I've have followed and listened to on a weekly basis. Of course, Colin Coward's been a big one I've listened to the last 10 years. John Middlecoff, a lot of those podcasters over at the Volume. And then, of course, other creators like Tom Grossi and Brandon Perna tune into GPS 3 days a week. So if you guys haven't gone and checked them out, please go check them out and subscribe. Tom Grossi's trying to get to 1 million subs. So and he's getting there. So hit him a follow. The whole clickbait sports crew. I've been following Scooter Magruder since I was in junior high, and just loved all the videos from just very early on, and the values he has. So give him a follow. The Dumpster Fire with Urinating Tree, 5 Point Vids. Um, yeah, hit them up on a follow. Watch the Dumpster Fire. But yeah, those have been my big sports inspirations. Of course, big Theo Von guy as well, Joe Rogan. So I've had a lot of different ideas and a lot of different content that I've consumed and watch and go out of my way to see every week, every day. So I'm hoping to kind of bring a little bit of piece of kind of what they do and bring it into what I'm going to be doing going forward. But yeah, if you guys haven't, give them a follow and a subscribe. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes, and um, yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Till next time.